Today, part 11 of how much is my slab collection worth. Stick around.
DJ Links is in the building.
Before we continue on, make sure you head on over to thecomicshelf.com and pick up your comic shelf. It is the ultimate carrying case for your raw and slab comics. It fits about 20 raw books or 2 slabs comfortably. This is the only carrying case that you'll catch me at a con with. Head on over to thecomicshelf.com and use code LINKSQUAD for 10% off your order. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy DJ Links, back in the building, back in effect, and back with another video. And today, part 11 of how much is my slab collection worth. You already know the spiel. We're just gonna dive right in. And the first book we have here, Tales to Astonish number 90 from 1967 in a 6.0. CGC, of course, off-white, the white pages. Boom, classic cover right there. And if you're a Hulk fan, this has like a big significance to it. So this is the first Silver Age appearance of Byra, which that's not a big deal, but it's the first appearance of the Abomination. Emil Belansky also says letter from Bill Mantlo. But yeah, first appearance of the Abomination, which is super dope and definitely a book that a Hulk collector will want to have in the collection. Stanley story, Bill Everett and Gil Kane art, Jack Kirby and Vince Colletta cover. This right here, the 6.0, is valued at $128.33. The next book that we have up, Thanos Legacy number 1, CGC 9.6, white pages. Gorgeous George Perez trade dress variant with the amazing George Perez CGC label up top. This right here, you know, I'm a diehard Thanos fan, so obviously I had to get this. I was hoping that it came back a 9.8, but yeah, I'll take the 9.6 because this is for the PC. And of course, you know, I had to get that custom George Perez label. RIP to George Perez, fantastic artist, and I respect the dude so much. Still gave back so much to the comic book community and the comic book fans up until he even passed away. Class act. Thanos Legacy number 1, Perez variant cover. This, because it's a modern book and a 9.6, doesn't have a ton of value behind it. This is worth 30 bucks. Up next, Thanos Quest number 1 from 1990. Boom! No real key significance behind this other than the fact that this is the book where he gets 3 of the Infinity Stones or the Infinity Gems, or as they call it in this book, 6 Soul Gems. So that's pretty interesting how they refer to it as soul gems and not infinity gems or infinity stones like they call it in the movie. This was one of the books that I had to get before YouTube when I first started collecting slabs, like legit in 1 month. I accumulated so many slabs, it wasn't even funny. Over here it says In-Betweener, Champion, Gardener, and Death Appearance. It's a wraparound cover. Jim Starlin story and cover, Ron Lim and John Beatty art in a 9.8, of course, white pages. I love this story, and this is valued at $98.39. Up next, and this is a funny story. I've mentioned this in a ton of videos before, and in this series in particular. I'll be having a long day or at work or something's not going my way, and my way of getting back on track is going and buying something. And I remember this happening. I was pissed off. I went to the comic book store, Royal Collectibles out in Queens, and I saw this on the wall and I was like, give me that. So this is store number 337 from 1983, CGC 9.0, white pages, and this is the first appearance of Beta Ray Bill. Beta Ray Bill is a super dope character. First appearance of Beta Ray Bill and a Nick Fury appearance. Walt Simonson story, cover, and art. Classic first appearance cover. Like, this is the way you introduce a character out, like boom, right on the cover, like bam. The Beta Ray Bill story arc that released a few years ago, done by Daniel Warming Johnson, is phenomenal. I suggest you go out and read that. This, as it stands, according to cover price, worth $120.42. Up next, the Uncanny X-Men number 221 from September 1987, CGC 9.6, white pages. And this is the first appearance of Mr. Sinister, Nathaniel Essex. First appearance of Mr. Sinister, Nathaniel Essex, as it says right there, in a Marauders appearance. Chris Claremont story, Mark Silvestri and Dan Green cover and art. This is one of the books that I tell people go out and get if you see it at a reasonable price. It's not a crazy expensive book at all, but you want to get this one, especially if you play the spec game. I think that Mr. Sinister is going to be the first villain that we see in the Disney Marvel version of the X-Men. They didn't give it to us with the Fox properties. They teased it at the end of one of the movies. I think it was X-Men Apocalypse, but they never gave us a proper Mr. Sinister, and he's a dope ass character. So I like almost guarantee that he'll show up down the line. This is a dope book, definitely a dope spec book. As it stands right now in a 9.6, according to cover price, this is valued at $132.50. This is one of those books that I just don't understand, like the want and the value, and I'll tell you why in a second. But this is Venom number 3 from 2018. First full appearance of Null in the CGC 9.8 white pages. First full appearance of Null. So why I don't understand this. Is it the first full appearance of Null? If it's a third printing, this is the third printing. So I don't understand why this version of the book, just because Null is on the cover, is more expensive than the first print. You know, with Venom catching, I think it's Spider-Man or Miles Morales, open mouth there. I just don't get it. I fell victim to the hype, to the FOMO, and I got this book. I think Null is a dope character. I still stand behind. King in Black issue number 1 was phenomenal until it completely shit the bed. Issues 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is still a dope cover, and overall this story in Venom is absolutely fantastic. Donny Cates story, Ryan Stegman and JP Mayer cover and art. Third printing, yeah, I don't get it. According to cover price, this is valued at $326.72. Another modern book here, and this is World Tree number 1 from April of 2023. CGC 9.8 white pages. Beautiful cover done by my guy Matt Wilson, and this is a Comic Mint exclusive. This cover is absolutely fantastic and one of Matt's best works. I absolutely love this cover. This was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, I want to say. I remember I saw the cover prior to it being released. He had it at the booth, I want to say at the 3 Men in the Basement comic swap, and I was just like, holy shit, that is amazing. And it was released at San Diego Comic-Con. James Tinian the Fourth story, Fernando Blanco art, and Matt Wilson cover. Big shout out to the homie Matt Wilson. This is absolutely phenomenal, and this is valued at $220. One of the few DC slabs in the collection, which I am trying to change. This is Watchmen number 1 from September 1986, CGC 9.6 white pages. Now, again, this is one of the slabs when I first started collecting slabs I had to get in the PC. Watchmen, the movie, for me, is one of my favorite comic book movies of all time, the extended version. It is absolutely phenomenal. So, of course, I wanted to get the number 1 issue. Now, recently, I want to say last year, I got the trade and I read the Watchmen story for the first time, and it is one of my favorite stories of all time. Phenomenal 12-issue art, and I'll go on record as saying, I think it's Watchmen number 4, the Dr. Manhattan standalone story. That is probably one of the best single issue comic books in comic book history. Phenomenal stuff by Alan Moore. This is, of course, the first appearance of Rorschach, Ozymandias, Dr. Manhattan, Silk Spectre, and Night Owl, and the death of the comedian. Alan Moore's story, Dave Gibbons cover and art. Super dope. One of my favorite books in the PC, and this one is valued at $183.55. Next up, and I got this out of a Wink Inc. comic book mystery box, and this is Weapon H number 1 from 2018. This is a KRS Comics Edition D convention exclusive. CGC 9.8 white pages, and this is dope. Absolutely love the cover. Tyler Kirkham cover, of course. I got this, and then it made me want to go back and read Weapon H, so I was just like, let me see what it's all about. So I got the 2 Weapon H trades, and I absolutely love them. Wendigo appearance, Doctor Strange cameo on last page, Incredible Hulk 345 cover homage, Greg Pak's story, Corey Smith and Marcus Tau art, Tyler Kirkham cover. This is incredible. incredible. Not a high value slab at all. This is worth 50 bucks. The next book we have here, and I actually got this out of a Erod 212 comic book mystery box. Big shout out to Erod 212. He is the homie. This is Wolverine, the limited series #1. Classic cover. This is from September of 1982. CGC 9.6 white pages. So I think the price point of this mystery box was $500, and this was actually the GP of the box. The value wind up being crazy, and I didn't have this, and it was definitely something to keep in the PC. I was super excited about this. This is the first solo Wolverine comic, as it says here, and a Yukio cameo on the last page. Chris Claremont's story, Frank Miller and Joe Rubinstein cover and art in a CGC 9.6 white pages. Classic stuff right here. This is valued at $292.88. So that's it for these 10 slabs on How Much Is My Slab Collection Worth Part 11. Let me know down in the comments which slab is your favorite out of these 10. And of course, we have to do the total value of these books. So what's the total value of these 10 slabs? And that's gonna do it for me, ladies and gentlemen. As always, subscribe, like, hit that notification bell, share this video, tell your friends about me, consider joining the Link Squad, and as always, most importantly, spread love, because it's the Brooklyn way. Peace.